Hi, I'm Zach of Zach Drives and Scarborough Toyota. In this video, we're going to go into a detailed review of the all-new 5th generation 2019 Toyota Rav4 Trail Edition. Let's get started. So we're going to start off by looking at the front of this vehicle, and the first thing I want to point out is look at that unique grille. That grille right there, surrounding by the badge in that area right there, is unique to the 2019 Toyota Rav4 Trail Edition. Unlike any other 2019 Toyota Rav4, kind of looks like the grille that you'd find on the 4Runner or something that's like an off-road pro package, something like along those words, but obviously that's not the case, this being the 19 Trail. What you find slightly below that is a unique chrome trim piece right here on the bottom, and fog lights. The fog lights are halogen. We also have integrated LED headlights. Let's go take a look at the vehicle a little bit closer, and what we'll do is maybe we'll come around to the side. And the first thing that we notice is these unique rims. These are 19-inch machined aluminum alloy rims, unique only to the Trail Edition. Also, the fairings around the vehicle are unique in the sense that they're oversized more so than any other 2019 Toyota RAV4. We pan to the back. We notice that we have side view mirrors. The side view mirrors have been moved. They're no longer attached right up here. The reason being is to increase visibility and also provide with a little bit of a sportier appearance. Another thing that's unique to the Trail is the side mirrors are blacked out rather than body color like they are in any other RAV4 2019. Door handles are color matched to the body of the vehicle. And we have keyless entry. I'll show you the key a little bit later on. Now you can see I can lock the door by touching those two little grooves right there, or unlock the door by touching the inside of the door handle and opening it. Single beep locks the car right there. Moving along now, one thing that I want to point out, it's something that I kind of mentioned in my video earlier, is you notice that there's a two-tone color here. So we have a champagne color along the body, and the roof is a white roof. Among the gas model 2019 RAV4s, the Trail Edition is the only one to offer two-tone paint as a color option. Also, we have not so much an oversized, but a larger roof rack running rails. Unlike all other RAV4s, they're much more streamlined. As we move along to the back of the vehicle, we see we have these updated taillights. The Trail badge and the RAV4 badge are blacked out in this vehicle. And if we pan a little lower, we see again a silver trim piece unique to the Trail and the limited model of this vehicle. Now I'm going to walk up. Actually, maybe I'll use the power rear liftgate to open it. So here's the key right here. Hit the button right there. Open up the trunk. Looks like this. The trunk, you can adjust the height to which it opens to. So if you're parking in a garage or an underground parking, you can adjust the height to limit to the extent that it opens up. Now what I want to point out in the interior here is the distance from the edge of the vehicle to the rearward portion of the seats along the vehicle trunk length, along the floor there, is longer than in the previous model. I measured it myself with my hands. We see we have carpeted mats here in the trunk. The reason being is this vehicle comes standard with the tub style rubber mats, as well as the summer carpeted mats as well. If I move that out of the way, we see we have the trunk is a flat floor, including up into the edge of the vehicle, so it's easy to get things in and out of the vehicle. However, this floor, if I just grab it here and trying to do this with one hand and holding the camera, I can slide this down to right there. The lower level gives us about 2 or 3 extra inches of space. If we need that extra room, comes in real handy. Plus now we have an extra lip so things don't roll out of the back if we find that that happens. The other thing that I'd like to point out here while we're in the trunk is along the right hand side we have an area for storage right here. If we pan just a little bit higher, we have a 120 volt plug outlet right there, unique only to the Trail Edition. Pan slightly higher, we also have a light switch right there if we're loading stuff in the back and it's nighttime out. We'll now go take a look at the occupant compartment of the driver's seat, the cockpit if you will. We'll use the smart key entry system, so it's push button start. We can get into the car touching the door handles on the driver door handle or the front passenger door handle. There's a sensor in the back of the door. When we grab it, it automatically opens. I'll first point out the soft touch finishes in the door and the entire vehicle. Maybe I'll pan it first to give you an idea of what it looks like. Beautifully well done. I really like the red inserts in the Trail, unique to the Trail. And I'll give you a shot of the seats too. Highly recommend you visit our dealership, Scarborough Toyota, or your local Toyota dealership. Check one of these vehicles out for yourself. The high quality leather that's in this Trail Edition seat material is absolutely fantastic, as well as the entire interior has surfaces and materials that you'll absolutely love. I can't really describe it very well in the video. You have to see it for yourself and make sure you touch every surface. You'll love how this vehicle just feels very luxurious, what you would expect in like a $100,000 sports car, something like that. Anyway, moving to the door, we see we have power windows, power locks, power mirrors. All of this has been brought inboard of the grab handle. The grab handle is also very nicely textured, feels really good, solid. Unlike the previous generation where it was outside of the grab handle where you had to reach around with your handle to toggle with these switches. Moving on, just wanted to point out, like I did in the limited video, the surface of this speaker right here, this type of textured surface you'll find and pattern you'll find all over the vehicle. So you might see that a little bit later on in the video as we point out different things. As I was mentioning about the seats, what I also want to point out about these unique cut leather, SofTex leather seats is the driver's seat is 8-way power adjustable, including lumbar support. Looking at the footwell, as I mentioned in the trunk, we have those carpeted mats. That's because Toyota offers tub-style rubber mats included in the vehicle, and they're fit specifically for your RAV4. The reason why they're called tub-style is if you kind of look deep in, they're all the way around the back and the sides. You'll see that it should water run towards the corners. It won't run back onto the carpet. It'll stay on the rubber mat where it should be. Now let's climb in the vehicle. But before we do, maybe I'll just show you here. We have two levers. The one on the left is for the trunk door, or the fuel door, and the one on the right, closer inboard, is the trunk release. We're now sitting inside the vehicle, and I just want to quickly power the vehicle on so you can see what it looks like as it turns on. So I'll start talking about this 7-inch display behind the steering wheel. While this is the first time this vehicle has been turned on since the PDI has been done, the center screen is just loading up. So we'll first focus on this 7-inch display here. Maybe I'll display it without my foot on the brake. I'll tap it once and then twice to enable the air circulation in the vehicle. It'll keep flashing to put my foot on the brake and then push the button to turn the car on. So what I'll show you here is this is a 7-inch display, TFT info display. As I mentioned before, the speedometer is 100% completely digital, and of course we have more traditional dials for the tachometer, fuel gauge, and temperature gauge on the left and right of the speedometer. Now that is all controlled by the steering wheel left-hand side right here, so I'm going to use this little dial pad to navigate through the display what we see here. First thing I'll point out is we have information about fuel efficiency, so distance to empty, and our instantaneous eco indicator. If we move over, we have our lane departure settings we can turn on and off and see. Move over again, we have our audio settings, vehicle distance, and information about travel, so distance traveled and time spent during travel. Here we have our information about with respect to our torque vectoring technology that's available only in the Trail and the Limited model. Basically, if the vehicle detects that the vehicle trajectory is not aligned with the direction that the driver is intending, it'll send power to different wheels consistently or continuously and adjust so that way the vehicle trajectory is exactly as the driver intended it to be. Moving on, we also have a whole bunch of settings that we can adjust about our safety, lane departure alert, pre-collision system, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and so on. We also have messages to display as the vehicle finds the time to. So things like oil changes, that sort of stuff, time to notify you of certain things to complete about the vehicle maintenance. Anyway, as we pan over, we also see we have an 8-inch display right here. It's finally loaded. Entune Apple, this is only like the first time you do it. You get the Entune app Suite 3.0 on your phone. You can connect it and use your phone to host the entire Toyota Entune app suite. Also, the 2019 Trail Edition also now enables Apple CarPlay for the first time. So you can use that app suite instead if you prefer. You can use these buttons here on the left and the right. They're hard buttons to go to the home screen, which is what this looks like. Shows you different information about your phone, your audio, your range, that sort of information. You can also customize this to show different things. You go to the menu, you have a whole bunch of different options, what we want to see and project onto our screen. Moving on to the audio, we have different audio inputs that we can use. Maps. This map is only available using your Apple CarPlay mobile app or Entune Maps Scout GPS is what it's called. On the right hand side we have these buttons here: seek and track for changing radio stations and skipping songs, phone to pair a phone, and once the phone is connected, see text messages, hear audible text messages, make phone calls, see contacts, that sort of stuff. And then finally apps, if we connect again Entune or Apple CarPlay, that's what we would see in there. Now one other thing I want to show is on the screen here, if we shift the car to reverse, we have a backup camera. I apologize for the noise and the close proximity, but if we turn the steering wheel, we see a wiggle in those yellow lines right there, so it shows you the trajectory of where the vehicle is going to go. We can also turn this to a wide-angle camera or a closer view, and we can also change the overlay of the display. These little knobs here, left and right, they're oversized compared to the previous generation. They're also rubber textured, and like I mentioned, the textured surfaces of all of these buttons and knobs have been really well thought out. They feel amazing and very easy to grab while driving without missing or slipping or any of that type of thing. Now the reason why I said I wanted to point that out second is because below we have these now enormous oversized knobs, and who doesn't like a large knob to grab? And as you can see, we have these really nice textured surfaces here to adjust our climate control. All these buttons in here are pretty self-explanatory. It's dual zone automatic climate control. Of course, you can always override the fan speed yourself, set the temperatures with the dual or two independent temperatures, as you can see right here. Slightly below that, we have, for the driver and front passenger, not only heated seats with 3 settings, but we also have ventilated seats with 3 settings. Our traction control button is here, and information about the airbag on the passenger side is over there. Beneath that, we have wireless phone charging. Really nice textured surface, has that same surface we saw on the speaker in the door. We also have plug right here for cigarette lighter, and we have an auxiliary cable and USB charger cable right there. There's 5 of these USB ports throughout the vehicle, 1 here, 2 in the center console, and 2 for occupants in the back seat, which is fantastic. No more running cables from the front to the back of the vehicle. Panning a little bit lower, we see we now have a leather wrap shift knob, very much more modern rather than like a standard little stick knob. Standard drive modes, as you can see here, but you can also pop it over to Shiftronic if you want to control the shifting of the 8-speed automatic transmission, which is all new for this vehicle. And finally, I want to point out these buttons. We have an electronic parking assist or parking brake. And we have a hold button here, so if you're in stop and go traffic and you're doing a lot more stop than you are doing go, you can pull on this button, holds the brakes for you with you having, you can then release your foot off the brake pedal, it'll hold the brakes for you, and finally when the traffic does start to move, you can just apply the gas pedal and it'll release the brake. Moving a little bit lower, we have now all of these drive modes. This is only available with this terrain select in the Trail Edition and the Limited model. So if we go a little bit closer, we see we have Eco, Normal, Sport, and we can toggle this left or right for mud and sand or rock and dirt. And we also have the ability to turn on and off the vehicle's knowledge that we're driving in snow or declining a steep hill. I'll just quickly show you how the steering wheel looks. This is the normal mode, and I'll get rid of that annoying flashing thing that tells us to turn the car on. And if I click on this Sport button here, as you can see, it turns everything red. If I hit the Eco button, it turns everything green. If I toggle to rock and dirt, it turns it blue with a nice graphic there, or mud and sand. And of course, back to the normal mode as well. I'll also show that this vehicle has two oversized cup holders with some inserts here for different size cups. The textured surface in the bottom here matches the pattern on the seats, the speakers, trays, all sorts of things. Another thing that I'd like to point out is additional storage and little hidden capacities, so you can store a phone here or some loose change, your wallet, anything that you like there. There's also that same storage on the left hand side of the driver's knee right there. Directly beneath that we have a bunch more buttons right here which I can try to focus on and display, so you can adjust the brightness of the display, turn on the automatic high beams or disable them. We can also turn on and off our front windshield deicer. We have our heated steering wheel and power rear liftgate. Also the steering wheel is tilt and telescopic using this lever right there. Looking at the center console, if we continue to pan up and up and up and up and up, we see we have over here some switches and buttons. So this SOS button here, also unique to this trim level and the limited trim level. What we can do here is in the event of an emergency, we can push on that button, call for additional assistance, ambulance, police, fire, that sort of thing. Also, if you're in a collision, you're automatically connected once the vehicle is set up. So there's no additional charge for it. 3-year subscription for free. Beyond that, I believe there is a small fee for that. You can disable it at any time. They don't take a credit card at the outset. It's something you can add later if you want. And of course, we have these little dials right here to control the moonroof. And lastly, we have switches here to control these lights over here, on and off. I have the door open right now, so there you go. Door on, when a door is open, if I close the door, they turn off, always on. Pretty standard stuff right there. Let's now check out the back seats so we can show you how the second row of seats look like in this Trail Edition. We're now going to take a look at the second row of seats, and what we see here, similar to the front, we have some really nice leather stitching that's unique to the Trail Edition. The second row of seats themselves recline to different seat back inclinations. So you can have a more upright position like so in comparison to the far seat that you see there. The purpose of adding more storage capacity in the second row while still using the second row seats. Or if you don't need that storage space in the trunk, you can recline the seats as such, providing the second row passengers a little bit more comfort. Also, if we pan over to the center area, it's a little dark in here, apologize for that. We have 2 more USB ports right there, vents for the second row of seats, and the seats for the first row are curved to allow more knee and leg room for our second row occupants as well. We're now going to go and take a look underneath the hood of this 5th generation all-new 2019 Toyota Rav4 Trail Edition. What we find is the same size engine. It's a 2.5 4-cylinder engine as the previous year, but it is an all-new engine built on Toyota's new global architecture platform. This engine puts out 203 horsepower, 184 foot-pounds of torque, and believe it or not, better fuel efficiency ratings as well. So believe that. Also, if you notice that the entire engine bay actually sits a little bit lower than the past model, the reason being is a lower center of gravity provides better stability when cornering. Now hope you found that helpful. I'm Zach of Zach Drives and Scarborough Toyota. That's why I drive my car.